The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. We were looking at the headline that literally broke the internet. The end of NewJeans. Why she really left ADOR.
It's the moment every single fan was dreading, and yet literally nobody could look away.
Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu Wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Right, and we have so much ground to cover in this deep dive today. We've got the official statements, the hidden meanings, the sheer heartbreak of the fans, and what all this means for the future of one of the biggest groups on the planet.
You really have to unpack this from the beginning, because to truly understand the absolute shockwave of December 29th, 2025, you have to look at what happened just a few weeks prior.
Oh, definitely.
So we are diving deep into the shattered hopes for an OT5 reunion. Let's rewind to late October 2025.
Right, the injunction ruling.
Exactly. The Seoul Central District Court hands down this massive injunction ruling. And the court explicitly states that all 5 members of NewJeans have to honor their exclusive contracts with ADOR until 2029.
Which, at the time felt like the definitive end to months of just brutal legal turmoil.
Right.
I mean, for the fans, that court ruling was the ultimate beacon of hope. They had been watching their bias group basically disintegrate in real time following the massive corporate fallout between HYBE and former ADOR CEO Minji.
That's just so messy.
It was incredibly messy. So when the court effectively said, hey, the contracts remain valid, the fandom genuinely thought the group was saved. You could literally see the collective exhale across social media.
Oh, yeah. The momentum was genuinely building. I mean, following that ruling, we saw Hanni, Haerin, and Hyein officially return to the ADOR building.
Yes, and Minji was reportedly in deep discussions to return as well.
Right, so the puzzle pieces were actually coming back together. But then, on the morning of December 29th, ADOR dropped an absolute bomb.
The complete bombshell.
They released an official notice announcing the immediate termination of Danielle's exclusive contract.
The whiplash was unreal. I mean, you go from anticipating an OT5 comeback to a core member being completely cut off in the blink of an eye.
And the agency's statement pulled absolutely no punches. Based on the official translation from the Reddit sources we looked at, ADOR claimed that Danielle had explicitly violated her exclusive contract.
Yeah, they alleged she had signed elsewhere, right?
Right. They claimed she was engaging in unauthorized independent entertainment activities and that she was damaging the group's reputation and credibility.
Wow.
They stated they had requested corrective action, but when the deadline passed without a response, they just pulled the plug.
That termination notice alone would have been enough to break the internet, but ADOR followed it up with a massive damages lawsuit.
Yeah, a huge one.
They are seeking 43 billion Korean won.
Which, just to put that into perspective for you listening, 43 billion won is roughly 29.3 million US dollars.
It's a staggering amount of money.
And they aren't just suing Danielle either. They filed this against Danielle, one of her family members, and former CEO Minji, claiming they bear significant responsibility for causing the dispute and delaying the group's return.
Let's actually break down how a company even arrives at a number like 43 billion won. Because it isn't just a random figure pulled out of thin air to sound intimidating.
Right. There's a formula.
Exactly. Under standard Fair Trade Commission guidelines for K-pop contracts, penalty damages are typically calculated by taking the average monthly revenue generated by the artist over the previous 2 years and multiplying that by the number of months remaining on the contract.
And NewJeans was generating astronomical revenue. I mean, we are talking about global luxury brand ambassadorships, massive brand deals, physical album sales, and world tours.
So when you take Danielle's share of that staggering monthly revenue and multiply it by the roughly 4 years left on her contracts until 2029, you hit that 43 billion won mark very quickly.
That makes sense mathematically.
Right, but by including Minji and Danielle's family in the lawsuit, ADOR is essentially claiming tortious interference, basically arguing that these outside parties actively conspired to induce Danielle to break a contract that the court had just validated back in October.
Okay, if you are listening to this and pulling your hair out, wondering how a company can fight tooth and nail in October to prove someone can't leave, only to fire them and sue them for $30 million in December, you are not alone.
It's wild.
It feels like an incredible paradox. Like, doesn't terminating her immediately after winning that injunction make the agency's initial legal arguments look entirely insincere? It feels like a massive corporate chess match where a generational talent is just collateral damage.
That is the exact sentiment echoing across the fandom right now. I mean, if you look at the domestic K-netz reactions and the international fandom on platforms like Reddit, the emotion is just raw, unadulterated devastation.
Yeah, I bet.
The sense of betrayal is palpable. You have users literally saying, "I feel completely blindsided." One fan wrote, "NewJeans will always be 5 to me, never 4."
Which is such a testament to how perfectly crafted that original lineup was. You can't just remove a piece without the whole structure feeling compromised.
Exactly. And there is this intent, boiling anger directed at the corporate machinery. Fans feel like ADOR and HYBE are using Danielle as a 43 billion warning shot to essentially subjugate the other 4 members.
You own them, basically.
Exactly. Feels entirely punitive. And one user pointed out the sheer heartbreak specifically for the Danielle biases, the fans who connected with her the most.
Right.
They watched these young women fight a grueling public battle only to be forced back by the courts and then immediately fractured.
It's brutal, and this ruthless corporate maneuvering puts Danielle in an incredibly precarious position. But, it also creates a bizarre disconnect between human emotion and financial reality.
Oh, definitely.
Because if you want to understand how cold the industry can truly be, you have to look at how Wall Street views idol contracts. And that's not even the wildest part of this controversy. Wait until you hear how the stock market reacted to HYBE losing one of their biggest stars.
I mean, the contrast here is genuinely staggering.
It really is. According to reports from Koreaboo, on the morning of December 29th, right after ADOR announced they were terminating Danielle and launching a nearly $30 million lawsuit, HYBE's stock didn't crash.
Which makes no sense emotionally.
Right. You would logically expect the market to panic when a massive entertainment conglomerate permanently loses a core member of their most critically acclaimed girl group. But the stock actually rose.
Wait, really?
Yes, it went up 1.27%, and some reports even cited 1.43%, reaching 319,000 KRW by mid-morning.
That is just so clinical.
It is, because the stock market hates uncertainty infinitely more than it hates bad news.
It's a very good point.
To the fans, this was a tragedy. But to the institutional investors in Uido, it was the resolution of a massive, unquantified liability. For months, the status of NewJeans was this dark cloud of litigation hanging over HYBE's quarterly projections.
Right. Investors didn't know if the group would disband or if they would go on an indefinite hiatus.
Exactly. Or if the legal fees would just bleed the subsidiary dry. But by decisively cutting Danielle, issuing a concrete lawsuit to recoup projected losses, and securing the other 4 members, ADOR gave investors a clear, quantifiable path forward.
The bleeding had stopped.
Exactly. The market rewarded the clarity.
Well, this prioritization of clean IP over messy human elements actually triggered a massive debate among K-netz about what people are calling the HYBE curse with female idols.
Oh, I've seen that trending.
Yeah, immediately after the termination, netizens started drawing parallels between Danielle and other female idols who have suddenly exited HYBE groups.
Right, like Garam.
Exactly, Garam, who left Ellie Seraphim shortly after their debut, and Young Seo, who left Illis before they even officially debut.
3 highly anticipated, highly publicized female idols, all gone under incredibly complicated circumstances.
Right, but looking at the historical receipts in these source threads, it's actually hard to blame this entirely on some sinister corporate master plan.
How so?
Well, with Garam from El Seraphim, HYBE actually spent months fighting an absolute PR nightmare trying to defend her from toxic netizen bullying and severe rumors. They bled public goodwill trying to keep her in the group.
That's true. They did try to hold on to her.
Because the public backlash and the internet hate campaigns were so intense that the agency was ultimately forced to remove her just to save the group's debut momentum.
So the counterargument is that this curse isn't always driven by corporate malice. Sometimes the agency is just bowing to extreme, relentless public pressure that backs them into a corner.
Precisely.
Is this curse actually just the ultimate paradox of the K-pop machine? I mean, we demand perfection from these idols, but the moment the corporate machinery grinds them down, the financial market actually rewards the company for cutting its losses.
That is exactly it. It's an ecosystem that consumes its own stars and then profits from the digestion.
Wow.
And that ecosystem leaves the discarded idols in a terrifying limbo. I mean, navigating this post-ADOR reality is incredibly complex for Danielle because she didn't just disappear, but she is heavily restricted in how she can reappear.
We actually saw that in early 2026. She did what you could call a soft launch into her solo life.
Yeah, the Xiaoheng Shu account.
Exactly. She opened a personal account on Little Red Book, the massive Chinese social media platform. And she also opened an Instagram account, which was quickly followed by her older sister, the singer Olivia Marsh.
And that simple act of her sister following her was all the confirmation the fandom needed.
Oh, for sure.
Within days, she had hundreds of thousands of followers. But the legal reality of that 43 billion won lawsuit means she has to tread with extreme caution.
We saw that firsthand on January 12th, 2026. Danielle went live on Instagram for the first time since the termination.
The live stream.
Yeah, but before the broadcast even gained traction, her legal representatives, Hallyu, had to put out an official statement clarifying that the broadcast was strictly for communicating with fans and completely unrelated to the ongoing lawsuit or any commercial activities.
I mean, she can't even say hello to her fans without a law firm clearing the airspace first.
It's crazy.
But there's a very specific legal mechanism behind that. In South Korean contract disputes, if an idol engages in unauthorized commercial activity while a damages lawsuit is pending, the agency can use that as evidence of further contract violation.
Which could increase the penalty multiplier.
Exactly. Hallyu had to legally establish that an Instagram Live does not constitute independent entertainment activities to protect her from ADOR, adding more zeros to that lawsuit.
Right, and when she finally did speak on that live stream, it was incredibly emotional. She told the viewers, "It feels a bit unfamiliar to greet you like this."
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
She talked about finding herself again under unfamiliar skies. But the quote that really broke the internet was when she said, "Bunnies stayed right where they were." That warmth lingers for a long time.
She promised to share her full story someday. And she said that NewJeans is always in a corner of her heart, and that even if they stand in slightly different places, they share the same heart.
Wow.
It provided a beautiful, heartbreaking closure for that chapter, but it also fueled massive speculation about her solo future. Like, can a generational talent actually rebuild a career from scratch while fighting a multi-million-dollar legal battle?
And hey, if you are invested in Danielle's solo journey, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update. We will be tracking her every move and legal filing.
Totally. And, Danielle's solo lockdown directly pressures the remaining 4 members to prove the brand's viability without her. And later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking plot twist for the remaining 4 members that nobody saw coming.
Because time doesn't stop, and neither does the K-pop industry. We are fast-forwarding from the winter fallout of 2025 to the heat of July 2026.
Present day.
Exactly, focusing on how the remaining members are attempting to rise from the ashes. It's the 4th anniversary of NewJeans.
Which is a huge milestone.
Yeah, and ADOR officially broke the news of a special film series titled The 2026 Summer of NewJeans.
Yes, this is monumental because it consists of 4 individual films and 1 group film.
Right.
It marks the very first major release since Minji's return was officially confirmed, basically cementing the new 4-member era. Hanni, Haerin, the Maknae Hyein, and Minji.
For the fans, seeing those 4 faces together again is a massive relief. But the absence of Danielle is a glaring, painful reminder of the year they've just survived.
Absolutely.
The 43 billion won question is, can they survive this? Can a 4-member NewJeans reclaim the crown after losing a core vocalist and their founding visionary?
Well, if we look at the streaming data, you absolutely cannot count them out.
Oh, the numbers are insane.
Right. Despite essentially being on a hiatus, defined by courtroom battles and corporate chaos, NewJeans recently logged their 16th song with over 100 million Spotify streams.
That's wild.
The catalog is functionally immortal at this point.
And history shows us that this kind of comeback isn't impossible. I mean, look at HYBE. Back in 2021, they faced a massive crisis when Soojin left the group amidst a severe bullying controversy.
Right. They went on a brutal 14-month hiatus.
People were literally writing their obituaries as a top-tier group. But then they came back with Tomboy, and it was an absolute cultural phenomenon.
They turned public fatigue into a career peak.
Exactly, proving a comeback is possible.
It proves that a hiatus and a major lineup change don't have to be a death sentence if the music hits right. But this raises the biggest hurdle for this 4-member lineup. It's what K-netz are calling the sound mystery.
The sound mystery.
Yeah, because NewJeans isn't just a girl group, right? It is a highly specific, curated aesthetic. But the architects of that sound are gone.
Minji is out.
Minji is out. And key producers from BANA, particularly 250, who is the mastermind behind era-defining hits like Attention, Hype Boy, and Ditto, they are widely expected to not be participating in this new era without Min Hee-jin at the helm.
Ah, I see.
You have to understand the mechanism of that specific sound to understand why this is such a crisis. NewJeans didn't just sing pop songs. 250 mixed UK garage beats and Baltimore club rhythms with minimalist, ethereal R&B vocals.
Right, it was so fresh.
It was a direct counter-programming to the noisy, EDM-heavy sound of the fourth generation. But Min Hee-jin was the A&R filter. She was the one who knew exactly how to package those underground beats with Y2K nostalgia and innocent visuals.
So it's like trying to recreate Coca-Cola when you only have the ingredients list but not the actual recipe.
That is the perfect analogy.
Like ADOR knows they need carbonated water, sugar, and caramel color. They know they need Y2K aesthetics and R&B vocal. But without Min Hee-jin acting as the chemist who knows the exact ratios, and without 250 brewing the actual tracks, the new music is in severe danger of just sounding like generic store-brand cola.
That is the ultimate risk. If the music sounds generic, if it loses that delicate chord progression and that signature chill factor, the public will notice immediately.
I do want to ask a tough question, though. I want to push back on that a bit. Because we are looking at a massive fandom divide right now.
For sure.
You have hardcore stans trending hashtags like no Danielle, no NewJeans, they're boycotting the agency and swearing off the summer comeback. But doesn't the silent majority of the general public ultimately dictate K-pop success at this specific scale?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Like, if the music is an all-kill on the charts, will the casual listeners even care about the corporate boardroom drama?
It is a cynical view of art, but it is historically accurate in this industry.
Right.
The general public has a very short memory when the music is good. If this four-member lineup drops a song that dominates TikTok trends and takes over the radio, the silent majority will absolutely strain it. The hardcore fandom provides the emotional foundation, but the general public builds the empire.
That is so true. It is shaping up to be the most scrutinized K-pop comeback of the decade. And if you love staying updated on your favorites, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
Definitely. There's so much writing on this single film series and the subsequent music, the legacy of the group, the reputation of HYBE and ADOR, and the very concept of what makes NewJeans actually NewJeans.
Which leaves us with one final lingering thought to mull over as we wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've examined the lawsuits, the stock market bumps, the fandom tears, and now the corporate attempt at a summer rebirth.
And all these elements point to a much larger, frankly terrifying dynamic at play in the entertainment industry.
Exactly. If NewJeans successfully rebrands and completely dominates the charts as a four-member group, entirely detached from Min Hee-jin, entirely detached from the producers who birthed their sound, and missing a core original member.
Does it ultimately prove that the K-pop corporate system, the agency and the brand name itself, is infinitely more powerful than the individual idols and visionaries who actually built it?
It is the ultimate question of art versus industry.
Right. If the formula works without the original creators, it tells the industry that the artists aren't the magic. The corporation is the magician.
Wow. We will find out if the magic holds this summer. You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.